spending the rest of his life in prison for bilking investors out of billions. And that scheme has changed the lives of dozens of people in the Bay Area. There are actually 88 victims in 11 cities throughout the Bay Area. Lisa Berger moved to Sarasota from New York. She retired and invested her money with Madoff for 8 years. The mother of two was devastated when she found out it was all a scam.
I heard that he pled guilty so that they couldn't touch his money and his wife could keep it, and that's just kind of sickening. You know, when I see people jetting all over the world and having these wonderful lifestyles, and here I am, you know, my kids are in trauma, and we're all in trauma trying to figure out, well, what we can do to just eat. It makes me sick.
Berger says after years of not working, she's now looking for a job. And here to break out with more of this is Markowski, the watchdog on Wall Street. And she brings up an interesting point, which is what I've been hearing, which is that some of these victims didn't want him to plead guilty because how does that lessen the chances of them getting their money back? She said it sort of freezes the money or protects it?
Well, once he goes to jail, they're saying, well, that's it. All bets are off, because then they've got no negotiating power anymore. How are they going to go back at him? It's still not sure whether or not they're going to be able to go after his wife's assets. I would assume they'd be able to. I mean, she never had any significant job. The only inheritance she had was some $20,000. Where else would she have gotten the $70 million? She wrote a cookbook once. She didn't make that money off the cookbook. So they may be able to go after the money, but the reality is that even dividing it up into, you know, little pieces with whatever money that they get, where's it going to go? I mean, there's not enough of it to go around.
What is the recourse for these victims at this point? They seem to feel very helpless and hopeless.
Well, in this scenario, there really is very little that they can do. There's very little recourse because there really wasn't the assets there. They say this is a $60 billion Ponzi scheme. That's not exactly true. He didn't take in $60 billion. He created $60 billion out of thin air, saying that he grew all this money to this level. It's like monopoly money. What are they going to give back if it wasn't there? It was a classic Ponzi scheme. As money came in, money went out.
I want to talk too about, you know, people. He was convincing. He was charming. He seemed very straight up to a lot of these people who sat right across the table from him. Sometimes it can be hard to, I guess, judge someone's character in just a few minutes. But what can people do to avoid being in the shoes of this woman, Lisa Berger?
Well, first and foremost, you don't judge someone's character by a few minutes. I mean, people need to take their relationship with their financial advisor, person they're working with, kind of like you would if you were interviewing a pediatrician for your child. This is a big deal. Don't let him start name dropping. This guy was really good at that. He gave to the right charities. He knew the right politicians. And yeah, he had a lot of, you know, big names. He could drop names left and right. But, you know, I took a look at his account statements years ago, and I couldn't make heads or tails out of how this guy was doing this or how he was making this money, this 8, 10, 12% a year, every single year, no matter what the markets were doing. You need to take an interest. And every single time he was asked how did you do this? What is your strategy? Oh, that's proprietary. I can't tell you. You know, anybody who tells you that the smartest person in the room, that they can beat the markets, defeat the markets, they're lying to you. First and foremost, they're a liar. They can't do it. There's no such thing.
Are there really any surefire ways, though, to make sure that you're not investing with someone like Madoff?
Well, I try to explain to people all the time that everything in life that has meaning, value, and worth involves work, time, and effort. It's that simple.
Right.
Okay, nothing in life is easy. You know, you're going to have times where you're going to be taking losses. Well, you know, you see these scams. We had the recent one here in Sarasota with the Art Nadell situation down there. He was telling people he was showing 32% a year for 10 years straight. That's insane. That's impossible. No one's able to do that. Understand what the markets can do for you and how they can grow over time, and also understand that when you're in that retirement stage, you need to live off those assets, you probably shouldn't be investing in stocks and having to sell stocks on a regular basis. You've got to go to more fixed income type of securities. It all depends upon your time frame.
If it's too good to be true, sounds too good to be true. You know how that ends.
Financial engineering, you got to think somebody comes in and says, I can fly. You know, you can look at them, you're like, that's ridiculous. You can't fly. That's what these people are in essence telling you.
All right, Markowski.